New York Comic Con. How y'all doing out there? Do you feel strong? I feel like we're a strong crowd, right? This is day 3 of the New York Comic Con. We're here for SYFY WIRE, and we have Miss Teri Hatcher with us. It turns out that Dean Cain is saving like a kitten from a tree, I think, and he'll be here as soon as he can fly his way.
You will see how many times I have to say, "Help, Superman, help," before he makes it. All the way from like whatever floor he's on. Help!
Help! So right now we're living in a time where there's a lot of love in the world for Lois Lane. As a journalist, as a sort of woman in a man's world, what was it like when you began the show? What was the feeling about Lois in the world?
I don't really recall where we were collectively as a society with the women's movement in the mid-90s, but I do know that just the fact that Warner Brothers and ABC decided to put a show on the air that was called Lois and Clark instead of Clark and Lois was probably a pretty big deal. And I personally really enjoyed that it was the version of the Superman story that sort of led with the relationship aspects of Lois and Clark, the romance of Lois and Clark, as opposed to the adventures that Superman as a hero, got into, being the dominating storyteller. So I guess Lois really moved the stories. You know, it was what she was, her strengths, and also her vulnerabilities, her hesitations to fall in love, all of that, which was very human, and those were the parts of it that I really personally fell in love with.
I mean, and especially today, given the sort of importance that we're now seeing more and more of journalism in the world, you know, did you feel a responsibility to get the journalism part right, to get the verisimilitude of being an actual reporter?
Well, I wasn't writing the show, so from that point of view, I was an actress who had to deliver what was written to me. But yes, I did feel like I wanted to honor that industry and that career. I am personally an independent, self-sufficient, self-supporting, person, single mother. I was and am all of that, and proud of what I've been able to accomplish. But I have actually had, over the years, many, many women come up to me, "Help, Superman, help!" It took you long enough.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Hello! All right.
Anyways, I was just saying, I have had many people say to me that they went to journalism school because of me and because of my performance of in that role, which is an amazing compliment.
I just met somebody 2 minutes ago who said that about you.
You did? Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's an honor, but crazy.
That's amazing. So tell me, for both of you, what were your memories of the launch of Lois and Clark? Because I was a very young journalist at the time, covering like nerd stuff, and I hadn't seen anything quite like it. Like, it was everywhere.
I think one of the first things that comes to mind when you ask me that is that, do you remember we were on buses all over Los Angeles? I lived in Los Angeles at the time, and there was that great black and white shot of us in the sort of like tank top things, and I don't know, I'd never been on a bus before. That was a really big deal for me as an actress. I'd never been in a show that was marketed that strongly. I think we had a billboard on Sunset Boulevard. That was a really big deal. I was totally that person that would drive their crappy little Ford Probe with the roll-down windows and pull over on Sunset Boulevard and go, "That's me on a billboard, I gotta take a picture."
It was a whirlwind, to put it mildly.
Life-changing.
Yeah. It was insane. But I was kind of terrified, though, too, because nobody had seen the show yet, and all that press was out there, and just hoping they liked us.
Yeah.
You know, we could have been awful. We'd been like, "You guys are terrible, get out of here." Or, "He's terrible and keep her." That'd be bad, too. So it was scary, but it was wild, and it was certainly life-changing.
It was really wonderful how people responded to the show. I do remember that people kind of fell in love with it pretty quickly. And yes, you feel free to clap on that.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Because we love you too. The fans of Lois and Clark are some of the most loyal fans, I think, in the history of fans.
By the way, look at all the people out here. You guys are awesome. So many folks. Thank you for being out here.
So Dean, tell me, like we're in a time where we're talking about things like diversity and inclusion, and when it comes to Superman, like there's a rumor that Michael B. Jordan might be playing Superman at some point. What, for you, is the essence of that character? What makes that character tick?
You know all the talk about diversity and inclusion, that's great. I don't even think about that. Like, for me, I'm so past that. Like, the idea that Michael B. Jordan would play Superman makes perfect sense to me, because I know Michael real well. One of the nicest men you'll ever meet. He has that kindness, he has that warmth and that vulnerability and everything that you'd want in that character, and you need that. And so for me, I don't even think about it. You know, I don't think that it's oh gosh, he's a black Superman, I'm an Asian Superman. I don't think those things because, you know, he's a Kryptonian. He could be anything. And I think if it goes that way, he'll be a fantastic Superman. You know, they had a Brit in there for a little while, so it'd be nice to bring it back to America. No, Michael would be like I said, a fantastic Superman. He's doing great with Creed. Creed 2 looks fantastic, and he's such a strong actor. He'd be a brilliant Superman. I'd love to have him join the
and the core of the character, like it's an immigrant story at the end of the day, and so there's no reason why Superman can't, in the same way that Hamilton does, reflect the America that we're in as much as it talks about the America that we were.
Yeah, no question about it. Like I said, I don't even think about it. Like they said to me, like, you know, hey, it would be a black Superman. I was like, yeah, I was like, but it's Michael B. and he's fantastic, and he has the essence as a human being, and he could be Superman in a heartbeat, in a heartbeat. I hope he isn't better than me though. Just like a little bit less. I fear he'd blow me off the map though. That'd be the hard part.
So which one of you were more trouble on the set?
I'm gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole. Are you insane, man?
We were different. I mean, different.
Fair enough, yes. Well, it's hard, you know, you're there, we live there. You live there 18 hours a day, minimum every single day. So, you know, the set was your life. And so you're living life and things are happening with your life as you're on set and doing things. So, I mean, it's a big, giant family, you know, full of all kinds of weird cousins and people you wouldn't let come to the barbecue, but they're there anyway. So I think, you know, I think we did pretty well for our 4 years.
I think we did well too.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Trying
both
to catch us with that question. He tried to trap us. Do you see that? No way.
I mean, you can't spend that many hours and that many years together and not see good days and bad days. That's just how it is. And I don't know, somebody said something about not judging somebody for their 3 like worst moments, you know, whatever, like that shouldn't be what we get caught up in doing, and I think that's probably a good way to think about it.
Fair enough. Now you both wrote episodes of Lois and Clark. If you could continue the story today, 25 years later, what would you like to see your characters doing?
How much time do we have?
You have 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Oh God, we couldn't do it. Well, we talked about this quite a bit.
Yeah. I think we're both would be very passionate to see what that would be. I'm very curious about, you know, we both actually have college-age kids and in real life, and I'm very curious to see, you know, what a marriage would be like, what a relationship would be like when it becomes an empty nest again. So imagining that their kid is old enough to have just gone out of the house, I think it would be interesting to see what they're dealing with, but I also think it would be interesting to see what that child, what kind of powers they got or didn't get, and what they're choosing to do with them. And
or children. Could be more than one.
That's true.
Could have procreated a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Just an idea.
Yeah, we would have. We would have done that.
We have 17 children.
You're right, we would have done that.
Because Kryptonians are born in a litter.
Oh, jeez, wait, what happened to me?
But it's only one time you have to give birth. You get 17.
Just one time I have to give 17
That's
children.
It.
Okay.
But they come out like
very,
eggs.
very tiny?
No,
Yeah.
they're eggs. Yeah, very small eggs.
Okay, wait.
Anybody, some comic book writers, help us out right now.
It's starting to feel a little too intimate.
I was starting to like it. Well,
Okay, so we have a little game in front of you guys.
Okay.
It's a role-playing game, and so if you roll that D20, I have a question
Go
for
ahead,
each
roll
one number
away.
that comes up.
all right. So am I rolling first?
Yeah, you roll.
Yeah, shoot.
All right. Wish me luck. 15.
15. If you were going to wait in line for someone else's panel, whose would it be?
Someone else's
Someone else's panel here, or show, or whatever.
Zachary Levi.
Yeah?
He's so smart and funny and weird. I'd like to hear what he has to say. He's a great guy, and I find him to be a smart guy and with a great intellect, so I think I'd listen to his panel. Good choice? All right.
Terry?
Oh my God, I'm just totally drawing a blank. Like somebody
Just say
like
Jason Momoa because he's beautiful.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, instead, because he did so well,
Okay.
tell me about your YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so yeah, I started this YouTube channel. It's called Hatching Change, play on my name, hoping to change things positively, so like bringing positivity into the world. And I'm doing that in 2 ways. I have this vintage VW bus van that I've had for a couple decades. It's a 1978 VW, and I decided to start I decided to start driving around and saying, hey, do you want to get in my van? And crazy enough, people do. And we just talk about life. It's called van therapy, and it's sort of my way of trying to connect people with subjects big and small. And then the other thing on the channel is called Don't Eat Shit Out of a Box. And it's teaching people to not eat processed food and eat healthier food. So that's my way of trying to make the world a better place in a very small way, but that's what I'm doing. So come check it out.
Oh, that's amazing.
By the way, if I drove around in a van and saying, people, you want to get in my van, I'd be arrested in like 5 minutes. She can get away with it.
I can get away with it, yeah.
Does this rag smell funny? Just Listen, boys and girls, this is all the time we have for Teri Hatcher and Dean Cain.
Thank you.
Show them how much you love them. Come on now.
Thank you all. Thank you.
SYFYWIRE.com, hashtag it's a fan thing. We got the Secret Warriors cast from Marvel coming up next.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jackie Jennings with SYFY WIRE. If you can't get enough of New York Comic Con, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel for news, interviews, cosplay, and so much more. What are you waiting for?